Welcome back, everyone, to Milk Bucket.
Hey, welcome back, boys.
We're here with housemate Chris for the full episode.
Good to be here.
We got some good responses from last week with Chris and Patty, so we're keen to have Chris on for a full one today.
Fuck yeah.
But before we do it, Chris, you were telling us about a story beforehand. Before the podcast.
Well, we're all in this walking phase, but being locked down and everything.
Heaps,
and for those of you who are in Sydney, you will know that there's a beautiful cliff walk in Vaucluse or Dover Heights. And
I've actually never been.
Must be nice.
Oh, you should go. It's amazing.
Shit. Oh, what happened?
Well, anyway, so I was on the cliff walk, and of course, I went on the other side of the fence because for the lols.
Yeah.
And in fact, I fell off the cliff.
Oh, what the fuck?
I fell onto the rocks underneath.
Holy shit.
Wait, did you break anything?
Fuck?
Well, my face. However, I was very afraid that my phone would break. However, we had the puppy case on it, so it was intact.
Wait,
Intact.
it didn't break?
No, and it even fell out of my hand, hit the rocks first. I was very upset about the phone. Went to, call for help, and I could call for help because the phone was intact.
I heard it actually broke the rock.
Holy shit. And what type of designs can you get with a puppy case? Can you just get any design that's available on the website?
Yeah, it's all bespoke if you wish.
Wait, is there like biodegradable options or something like that?
I'm sure there are.
There's no way.
Very corporate social
Wait, Bas, he's lying if he says this. Is there a Milk Bucket collab case happening right now?
There might be.
Oh my God. Wait, there's no way you would even get a discount on it. Is there some sort of discount?
Like
I should
10% or something?
So.
Oh shit, there's a 10% discount, boys.
Only for the loyal followers of the Milk Bucket.
Make sure to go to puppylist.com/milkbucket.
You've heard it here first. Click the link down below for 10% off a case. If you want to fall down, break your body, but not break your phone, go to @puppylist.
Fuck yeah. Oh, I had the funniest fucking thing. Actually, Chris was with me. So when you're ordering pizza with Domino's, you know how you can like customize it, add more cheese.
Wait, Chris was
like
with you when you were ordering Domino's.
No, I just happened to be in the house.
Yes, you know how you can customize that bitch, so you can add extra cheese. Yeah. So you know which pizza has the best toppings on it? The vegetarian one. So what I did, get the vegetarian one, add meat. Fuck it. I don't know. Is that shit disrespectful?
That's so funny.
I'll have the vegan pizza with extra rare steak.
Yeah.
It's like, remember when Tom Mazzetti fucking went to the vegan restaurant with Bradley Martin and he ordered fucking 40-pack of wings?
Yeah. Bro, that's the thing. I was kind of fucking scared. Is this going to disrespect the fucking chef? What if the chef is vegan? He's fucking
chef at Domino's.
He works at Domino's. I don't know if you can call him a chef. I don't know if he's
Tuscany for 5 years before he could work at
I don't know.
Tuscany.
I don't know if he has as much of a chef's hat as more of a fucking Domino's cap. You know what I mean? Like, it's not exactly some old nonna fucking throwing dough up in the air.
Oh yeah. I mean, you've never ordered Domino's before, probably in your life, right?
No, never.
What are your thoughts on Domino's? We'll just start it there.
Well, I mean, with all due respect to Domino's, I mean, I don't think we can call it a pizza.
Well, I mean, hold up. Do you have any respect for Domino's?
I'm sure. I'm sure there are some gentlemen on the board of directors who are very respectable, and I have a lot of respect for them.
Yeah,
and that's as far as it goes.
For those who don't know Chris, he's more on the classy side of things.
Oh, thank you.
He likes to have the finer things of life. You're more of a.
He's the Queen's grandson, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much. You're more of a thin crust sort of Italian pizza man, right?
I agree with that though.
It's okay.
I like a proper when people always say like, "Oh no, you wouldn't like Italian pizza. It's not how it is here." It's like, yeah, but the sauce is so much better. The dough is so much better. The cheese is so much better. Like, you don't need to have 30 kilos of meat on a pizza for it to taste good, bruv.
This is the thing. It's not about better. It's about different. It's like Turkish pizza. It's not. I wouldn't say it's objectively better than
I know, because that'd be the most retarded statement in the world.
Yeah, but it's different. It's a different type of food.
I know.
It's not. I'm not having
Turkish
Domino's.
pizza. They get like your meat. They get this. They go into like an oil slick when fucking BHB or fucking Woodside cracks a spill. They dip it in there. They give it to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is pretty greasy. Not gonna lie.
Well, this is the thing, and I've said this to you, I think, many times, is that pizza is like junk food.
Arguably.
I mean, it's not healthy. It's a treat to have pizza.
Sure.
So if you're gonna spend the calories and have the treat, why would you not get the best? If you're gonna have a pizza, get the best pizza. If you're gonna have like biscuits, cake, whatever, get the best that you can, because then that will make it worthwhile, worth the calories, worth the saturated fat, the sugar, the carbs, whatever.
Well, that's the thing. Actually, me and you have this debate all the time.
Yeah.
And this is the thing. I don't want to get myself to the place where I'm used to having luxuries and that I can't have a pizza that isn't wood fire. I want to have that life where I can have street pizza, which is with thick dough and stuff like that.
And you still
That's
enjoy
not
it.
street pizza in Italy.
Well, I mean, not in Italy, but other European countries, yeah. You get pizza and it's thick dough.
I want to be able to go to a fucking kebab store after a night out and still enjoy the pizza.
Exactly. I want to be able to have those options. I don't want to get used to the luxury of having like crazy good pizza.
But is it a monetary thing or is it just a, I don't know.
It's a bit of both.
What is it?
That's a great question. It is a bit of both because I don't know how I feel about having a $30 pizza.
But if money was no object,
it is an object though.
okay, if it was no object,
I don't
would you
know.
still
What
get
do you reckon,
Domino's?
James? Would you allow yourself to have the best of something on a daily basis?
It's not on a daily basis. Like, it's a treat. That's the whole point. It's a treat. So you have it very infrequently, but when you do have it, it's so enjoyable. It's so worth it because it is the best.
Yeah, no, I do. I like eating not shit food. Like, because
I don't think anyone likes to eat shit food.
you do.
Well,
You
yeah,
love
well,
shit food.
But it's
mate.
not shit to me. I'm not having
No,
food that is shit.
But it is.
But it's objectively.
Yeah, I get what you're
Like,
saying.
for instance, if you were like, okay, I'm gonna eat a chicken burger tonight, I would much rather find a one-off fucking like a one-off place that does banging chicken burgers than go to a Porto. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
you don't like a Porto?
it's fine.
I wonder, is Porto worldwide or is it just in Australia?
I think it's Australia,
I
right?
think it's just Australia.
If you guys don't know what fucking a Porto is, it's like Chipotle if they didn't make bowls and they made burgers. It's like healthy-ish.
How is that even comparable?
No, it's not.
Well, because they're supposed to be healthy-ish.
Chipotle's Mexican. Porto's Portuguese.
It's the same thing.
No, it's not.
It's the same thing.
No, it's not. Different continents, B.
Different
Different
continents,
languages.
different language, different everything.
Tacos, burger, same difference.
But they're both next to a country that speaks Spanish. Tell me that ain't comparable.
It's not that comparable.
If it ain't comparable, I don't know what is.
You obviously don't. I agree.
So is France, incidentally, but they don't have any Spanish-influenced food.
Yeah, but France is different because France is a lot more pretentious.
Pretentious?
Yeah.
I mean, don't say that with a shocked face. The French are pretentious people.
I don't think they're pretentious.
What is it
I
about
think
them
they
that
have
makes you think
exacting
that?
standards.
Oh my God. Chris lives by the fucking 18th century French standards. Like, yes, you have 3 mistresses. What do you want? This is what happens.
I heard a saying from a girl who's Belgian. I just dropped
That
the
was shocking, Baz. All right, continue, Baz.
Yeah, I had this thing with a Belgian girl for I'm sure I brought it up like 100 times.
What do you think about the Belgium?
The
Flemish.
Belgian?
The Flemish.
Good question.
They just lose too much, you know what I mean?
They lose.
World War I, World War II, like, you know what I mean? Stop getting invaded, cunts.
Did Belgium like conquer much? Did they
Oh, did they? How about Africa?
did they do the whole fucking thing?
Well, I mean, he might have been he might have been with the French, but there was a Flemish. Is that what you call from people from Belgium?
No, the Flemish is a different
I
thing.
thought that was Dutch, but I could be wrong.
No. Flemish is in Belgium, but I don't know.
Flemish is like a conglomerate of different languages.
Right. Okay.
Very, very. It's
So
almost
what do you call the people of Belgium?
Belgians.
Well, yeah.
Is it
I guess-
Belgians?
Belgian with an N. That makes them like Belgian chocolate.
What about Belgios? Anyway, so there was this Belgio king or prince or something like that.
Yeah.
And he slaughtered the people of Africa.
Oh shit.
It was aggressive, bro. It was real fucking bad.
Fuck.
What's crazy is you see the effect of European countries on Africa, and it's horrendous. Because in Africa, like in Europe, most countries are lucky that like there's a lot of fertile land. You can plant, you can farm, you can do things like
In
that,
Africa?
which means no, in Europe.
Oh yeah.
Which means you can actually have sustainable farming.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously, when you go up north, it's a bit more difficult, but there still is that. Whereas in
Horticulture.
Africa, it's very temperate. So one area might be super habitable, but then the next 5 years, it's completely fucked.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of the people in Africa who weren't on I forget what the Nigerian river is, but that like river that runs through Nigeria and West Africa, and then the Nile, all the other parts of Africa, aside from the ones in the Mediterranean, obviously, were very nomadic. They would move to where you could live.
Oh.
And that's why a lot of times people think of Africa and they think, oh, it's very uncivilized. But it's like, no, there's no point on building a massive building if you have to fuck off in 2 years.
That's true. Yeah, that actually reminds me of what I was about to say. Not at all, but this Belgian girl used to say there's a French saying because they speak French in Belgium.
Yeah.
Apparently, they say sucking isn't cheating.
I think the French say that as well, yeah.
Well, there's a French saying.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, be moral, do oral.
Hey, is that an English thing or what?
I think it might be actually an American.
Don't be a fuck, take it up the butt.
Don't be fennel, do anal.
Yeah, not quite the same.
We'll just
Slowly just slip down.
We'll just cut that one out.
There's no cutting Bas. Everyone's going to hear that Bob. But yeah, I mean, the thing is, as a guy, you're like, oh, it's great for me. You know, I can get my dick sucked by my secretary. But then you're like, wait, can my wife suck another guy's dick?
Yeah.
No, that's not how it works.
That's when it gets dodgy, bro. Here's another thing.
All those cheating guys must have hated equal rights.
Yeah.
The second they couldn't get away with their dirt without thinking their wife was doing the same, it's like, fuck off.
Can we go back to the time when you could have 4 wives and just not be a big deal? I reckon
when was that then?
So Saudi Arabia 2021?
Well, that's the thing nowadays in Middle Eastern culture. It's actually only the poor, the poorer people that have multiple wives. It's very strange. You would think that like the richer ones have that.
Probably so you got better chance of getting better offspring.
Yeah, it's also that, and also the women want to get with a guy that's more rich, and you don't need to be that rich to be more rich than most, like the majority of the people in that country.
Right.
So it's different in that case.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You know what I read the other day, which was fucking completely different to what we're just talking about?
What's that?
Apparently this guy had a dream. So I don't know what happened, but he had a dream, and in that dream...
Martin Luther King? Is that the one?
It was a lot worse of a dream, but this guy had a dream where in that dream, he had seen himself graduate from college. He was in college. He was a college student. He saw himself graduate college, married a beautiful woman, had a successful job, raised kids, and it was like a decades-long dream.
Wait. When you say dream, do you mean a fantasy or an actual dream
just
that
a
he had
dream,
at
like
night?
a one-night dream.
Oh.
And I think it was a multiple. I think he was in a coma for 2 or 3 days. And in that
okay.
coma,
What happened?
it was decades long. And it was surreal. It's like he studied for every single exam, killed it through uni, had an exceptional job, married a beautiful wife, had a family. And then when he got out of that dream, he was so fucking sad that he ended up becoming a drug addict and fucked his whole life around.
I'm gonna take a gander that he was either doing acid, a lot of mushrooms, or DMT. I don't think this was just a dream. I don't think he became a drug addict. I think he was a drug addict, and it just got perpetuated.
That shit's fucked though. Like, I mean, how long do you think a dream could possibly be?
Well, because people describe that with DMT, which is like ayahuasca for people who don't know. So it's like you smoke it, and the whole idea is it lasts 15 seconds, but you can feel like you lived an entire life.
It lasts for 15 seconds.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, it's a very short trip.
And then you have to redose or what?
Yeah, people do it multiple times, but like apparently it's one of those things where the actual duration is very quick, but it can feel like a lifetime.
A lifetime.
Yeah,
scary.
That's insane.
The interesting thing about ayahuasca in particular, because I think DMT and ayahuasca are the same like drug, but it's like the way it's prepared. So ayahuasca, you go to fucking some shaman in Argentina or whatever.
Yeah.
And they do, and that's where you do all the purging. So you're like incredible diarrhea and vomiting and all this shit. But the whole idea is that like a lot of terminal ill patients will go there. And the feeling is so intense that you can't believe that there is nothingness after death. And it makes people feel like all right with it. It's like, no, I'll die in this body, but there is something else because of this drug, which is crazy. Yeah. Imagine something so fucking powerful that it literally makes you believe in an afterlife with there's no book, there's none of that. It's literally just an experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, I don't want to promote drugs and I don't want to, I don't want to make it seem better than what it is, because a lot of people have bad issues and like go schizophrenic from psychedelics. And I've never done any of them, but I've heard Joe Rogan talk about DMT as in you'll have a DMT experience or a couple of them, and then someone will talk to you about UFO sightings and you'll just fully believe it.
Yeah,
like it make 100% sense.
No, like that's what I'm saying about like the afterlife kind of thing. It's like people see aliens or they'll see a god or they'll see something, and it makes them believe like, we're not alone on this earth. There is more.
On this earth or in this universe?
Both.
It's just a comfort thing.
Yeah, exactly. And like, I do see the medicinal benefit if you can get someone who's terminally ill to feel like comfortable with that. Because like,
you're terminally ill, do all the drugs.
Yeah.
There's nothing to lose.
Bert Kreischer spoke about it.
Oh, really?
He did these things called call in sick to work shows where he'd like run a day drinking show and people would call in sick to like come see it. And there was one guy who stood up midway through who was like, I've got 2 months to live. You know what I mean? Oh, he's like, I've got stage 4 lymphoma or something like that, right? And he's like, I've got 2 months to live. And Bert's like, fuck, well, like at least let me buy you a drink. And he's like, what do you want? He's like, I want a rum and a Diet Coke. And he's like, look, man, you got too much to live. Let's lose the diet. You know
why would you get a Diet Coke? What the fuck?
Put on the weight, bro. Fuck it, I guess.
The idea of having a set amount of time to live,
That's scary to me.
it's scary, but it's also kind of beautiful in a way that you know that I've got 3 months to do everything I've ever wanted.
But you typically can't, because if you've got 3 months to live, you're probably either bedridden or close to being.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's not usually you just topple over with full health, you know?
Yeah. Okay. If we have the hypothetical, and I want to ask Chris this, if you did have 3 months to live and you were fully healthy and it was like a brain tumor, so say like in 3 months, you will die.
Yeah.
100%. God came down, Allah came down and said, hey, this is the deal. What do you do in that 3 months?
And this is obviously like, because in real life, you would be bedridden if it was brain tumor.
No, but in this hypothetical.
In the hypothetical.
Fully
Go back to that London riverboat.
No. What would I do?
Yeah. What would you do in the 3 months?
I think I'd just travel.
Where would you go to?
I would
And what would you
go. Obviously, I'd do it comfortably.
Okay.
Stay in very nice hotels. I'd eat delicious food. I'd drink delicious wine.
How would you obtain funding?
You've got 3 months to live. Like, money should not be an issue.
But it is. Like if you want to book a first class flight and it's $20,000,
Yeah.
how do you pay for that?
Hopefully, you're in a position where you can pay. And if not, well, I don't know.
I would just take out a credit card. I'd max out my credit limit.
You would?
Yeah.
Probably get a personal loan.
The real question is, let's say this happens, right? You've got all your family, all your friends, all your relatives. Like, at what point do you just immediately not go full selfish because you're going to die, so it's your time.
Yeah.
But like, do you allow any time to like be with those people?
Of course.
But that's like an interesting perspective, because if it's like, well, so if it's 3 months to live, like if you just traveled for 3 months, that's fantastic. But imagine if you didn't see your parents or you didn't see your relatives or friends or siblings or whatever, like during that time, and then suddenly you just cacked it and you're dead. Because you hear all those people who say that, where it's like, if I had 3 months to live, I would just do everything I always wanted to do. I reckon most people wouldn't do that. I think a lot of times, if this obviously happened, I think it would just be spending time with like loved ones and shit like that.
Very good point.
Would you do that, Chris?
I don't think you'd get the comfort from doing all this shit that you would normally. Like, so skydiving, I don't think you'd feel the same thrill knowing that you're going to die in 3 months' time. I think the joy of being with people you actually care about would probably like feel better in the long term. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand that. It's a very good point.
Would you do that?
Let's say
I get a lot of pleasure from. Okay, let's say this. I enjoy pleasure, so I dilute in. However you want to interpret it.
What's your favorite position? Go.
I agree. About
Not standard.
I think
surely.
most people.
Not standard mesh.
Yeah.
Who the fuck does standard mesh?
But
that's the point.
Only a missionary would do that.
But ting.
What I reckon is that I don't think that spending. So personally, as someone who's reasonably family oriented, like I see one of my siblings at least every week, or at least if I don't see them, yeah. Well, if not in person, then it would be on phone.
Okay,
phones. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, like FaceTime. I would not want to spend that time with my family. Like I would want to spend maybe the last week I'd like to spend with them, and I'd book an Airbnb or something like that. Assuming I could take out a personal loan for $50K or something like that and just fucking blow it. I would like to, I'd book an Airbnb with them for a week at the end. But I really value new experiences a lot.
Have you guys ever seen that movie P.S. I Love You?
No.
It's like a chick flick, right? And the premise is, you know Gerald Butler?
Yeah.
I think it's him. I think the chick falls in love with him. They get married, all that kind of shit. And then he dies. And what he did was, when he knew he was going to die, so he organized for certain things to be sent to her at certain times.
Oh, shit.
And the whole idea was like, he wasn't trying to make her life ruined. He was trying to like bring her a little bit of happiness and then let her go. Kind of being like, you need to, move on with your life and all that kind of stuff. If you know you're going to die in a week's time, right?
Yeah.
There's not enough time. You can't get funding, all that kind of shit. You've got your wife, right? You've been married to her for like fucking 15 years, whatever.
Yeah.
So you can't just fuck off out of nowhere. Like all your money's gone, right? Do you do some shit like that to try and like help bring them closure?
No.
Really?
No.
I probably would.
Okay.
To my siblings.
Draw a clean line under it.
Not to my girlfriend.
Let her get on with her life.
Yeah.
I think that drags them back. And then,
If you were going to die, let's say you're going to die at 35, your wife's 30, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you want her to move on? Or with the jealous
absolutely.
side of you? Yeah,
absolutely.
exactly.
Yeah. I mean, I don't.
It's
if
so
she was 60, I would say maybe not.
The idea of a sexless life is just so
No,
depressing.
bro. Go out and get your fucking old dick, bro.
I'm the same. Yeah. It
60
doesn't matter.
year
It doesn't matter
old.
what
If
age.
my-
85, 90, whatever. Just Have fun. Have fun. This life is meant. There's no purpose to life apart from reproducing.
Bro, how good is hedonism?
That's deep.
What's that?
The pursuit of pleasure.
Well,
Fuck
that's what I'm
everything
trying to say.
else.
So important.
Fuck everything else. Do what makes you feel good, bro.
I mean, are you a documentary guy? Do you like nature documentaries?
Sometimes.
Me and Chris have been watching them a bit more recently.
Yeah, we have.
Why was
And
that?
it's shocking that
What was your state of mind when that was happening?
it's shocking how crazy and how clear they are about the whole idea of life to an animal is to look after the next generation. The whole purpose of the life of a lion is to have kids and to make sure they do well.
I think that's true for us as well.
Well, that's the thing.
I think
why would you
people-
want your wife to not have sex?
I think people
But
bring...
you've already reproduced by that point.
Doesn't
Well,
matter.
I mean, so you two are more religious people than me. But like...
Very slightly more. But yeah,
I mean,
go on.
I'm very unreligious.
Yeah.
I don't know. But like a lot of times people try to attach like meaning to life, saying like, oh, we have to do this for, X God or whatever. At the end of the day, your biological meaning to life is to reproduce and make them stronger and shit like that.
Yeah.
And when you attach too much extra shit, you start diverting from what life is. Like, as long as you're not hurting people, as long as you're having fun and enjoying yourself. That's why I don't really give a fuck. Why do you need 1 billion versus 100 million versus 10 million? Like, at what point does the extra money and the extra stress that comes with it actually give you more happiness versus take it away,
It's a very, very great point.
Well, I think you get happiness from the knowledge that future generations will benefit from your wealth, hopefully build on it, but that your family legacy will continue.
But imagine if you saw that the grandkids were like fuckwits. Like typical third generation money. Where they're just like, they grew up with it. They
I
didn't
would
see
hate that.
any struggle. So they're just like buying Bentleys at 22. You know what I mean? Like,
With your money
It
as
sounds
well.
very nouveau riche. I don't know if like good families do that.
Yeah, but if it happened.
If it happened, that would
And it happens. So we can't say that would
think
never
about
happen.
all the pretentious cunts at the English. There was a guy called Max Fosh, who he's like a YouTube kind of comedian guy. But he went to this school that legit looks like Hogwarts.
Oh, yeah?
What school was it?
I can't remember. It was one of the like most expensive schools in the UK.
Jeez.
But I think it was like over $100,000 a semester or something like that. But yeah. It looks like a legit castle and shit.
Okay.
It's
That's
proper
fucked.
crazy. But like the cunts there, they've got if you're willing to pay $100,000 a semester for fucking like
You probably have a
for
fucking
high school,
Lambo, yeah.
they've grown up without even the thought.
Imagine
of money
being a teacher
problem.
there.
Oh my god!
Oh, fuck. Even you're probably on 200K, but that's fuck that.
I think you'd have to have come from money to be able to teach there.
Yeah.
Like
probably.
imagine being someone who wasn't like didn't understand the culture of this level of wealth, trying to teach these like cunts who are like they grow up knowing that like I just need to do good enough that mom and dad will give me my fucking inheritance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What are your thoughts on dying and your last check before you die bouncing? You know that saying?
No.
Like you've done everything.
As in you've exhausted every dollar in your account.
I'm
Like
for that.
you
you've-
die with nothing.
It's from the guy from Ocean's 11, I think. He says that he wants his last check to bounce.
Oh, okay.
Multi-millionaire. He's like, I want my last check to bounce. I don't want.
I'm not
I don't wanna
about
leave
that,
anything.
but I,
I
can
want
can
them to have a
understand it.
reason to work.
See, yeah, I agree with that
Make
in
their own
theory.
money.
I think the people below you, like your kids and grad kids and all that shit, need to have some level of ambition. Because otherwise, like, if you've grinded up from something, you're not going to respect people who didn't continue a grind. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If there's no ambition there, then it's different. But like, I'm all I think, obviously, none of us have fucking kids, so who knows how we'll change when we see a little fucking kid looking at us.
Chris is a kid. I was joking.
I cannot. Let's be clear for all the listeners.
Anyway,
One of them being my girlfriend.
but like,
Oh, Patty's listening to that. What?
Yeah, exactly.
Wait,
I was like, no,
Chris
it's not
is
true.
pregnant?
darling.
No, I think I'm all for like giving your kids the best opportunity while they're like young and like, you know, if they want to start a business and they like pitch it to you, you know, you helping them out. Maybe you're not expecting to make the money back, but you're giving them a chance.
little bit of money. Maybe $5,000, $4,000, something like that.
Exactly.
A little amount. Yeah.
And like if they want to get extra education, it's like, yo, go for it.
Yeah.
But I don't like the idea of leaving, like if you've made 100 mil, I'd much prefer go the Bill Gates method of like giving 99% away.
I'm
So
the
like
same.
there's
I'm the
still
exact same.
some kind of like incentive to try. You know what I mean?
I like the idea of a little bit of an inheritance. So the equivalent would be maybe 500K.
Small loan of $1 million.
Like 500K, what the fuck can you do? You can't even buy an apartment in Sydney for 500K. So it's like a tiny amount, which
Depends
might.
when you get
It's
it.
a safety net.
If you got 500K
Like
at
now,
21,
now.
that's massive.
Oh yeah, but I mean, ideally, I mean, like maybe it'll help you with your what's it called, with your mortgage, help
Sure.
relieve some of the pressure, but it won't pay it fully off. But it's enough money for you to I guess for you to have a little bit of, like, it's a little bit of a benefit. All right, so it's going to help us.
I think even if you tell your kids they're not going to get anything, so they don't grow up thinking that they will.
Yeah.
And that way they're like, no, I'm not going to get anything. I got to fucking work if I want to like continue having nice things in life. And then maybe on your deathbed, you're like, oh, by the way, here's a couple mil each. You know what I mean?
And this is the reason why that I don't want to give them too much, even if I have a lot. I think that you get a lot of satisfaction in life from getting things. Just like when you
earned,
exactly. Like when you work and you save your first $1,000, like that's a fucking humongous achievement.
When you hit your first 10K, like
when you hit your first 10K, I don't have 100K, but when I save my first 100, like that's going to be an extraordinary.
This is the thing you're missing. The thing is, the whole idea is that the generations that follow you build on the wealth. They don't just blow through it. And I don't think having wealth precludes you from being ambitious at all.
That's fine, but if you have 10 million given to you, you're never going to have any feeling of achievement when it comes to money.
And it's typically not just given to you. It's typically given to you in the form of a trust or in a form of a share portfolio that you earn dividends on. Typically you don't get like a
cash
windfall.
Yeah. But I mean, think about it this way: you are robbing your kids the satisfaction you get by achieving X amount of dollars. You're robbing that.
Why are you robbing them?
Because they will never know how it feels to have saved their first $10,000. If you give
Why
them,
not?
If they know they're going to have $10 million,
that's totally removed. Like the money that you have that you earn is completely removed from the money that you have.
Oh, you reckon?
From your family.
No,
and there's a total emotional disconnection.
There was a comedian. I can't remember who he said it. It was I think a famous comedian, but he said, "Poor people have jobs, rich people have projects." Like when you're in a privileged situation, you're starting a project. Oh no, I'm going to try drop selling. Like, oh, I'm finding these cheap hoodies or something like that, and I'm going to flog them. Whereas like the average person just goes fucking Woolies to get a job because they actually need money.
Yeah.
Whereas if you don't have the fear of failure, you can just take a risk without there being any like. I think that's why like the whole world, they like the story of the poor guy getting rich more than the rich guy just getting richer.
Absolutely.
Like Slumdog Millionaire. Guy comes from the bottom, fucking his whole life experience lead him to winning this fucking game show or whatever.
I think also a hungry lion is going to always hunt more. Like although I understand that a person who was raised with money can be ambitious. Absolutely.
You look at you two. What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
It's very possible to be ambitious.
Well, that's the thing. But also, if you took an average of 100 or 1,000 people and you have the same personality traits, you put some in a poor situation, some in a rich situation, I think you'll have more from the poor situation. Assuming the same...
I actually disagree.
I mean, assuming the same upbringing. So the same amount of motivation, the same amount of resources.
See, I think it would be very similar, but the issue is the effects of the unambitious rich people are more because they just blow through the money for no like purpose essentially.
Yeah.
Like where like the poor cunt with no ambitions might be just a builder and just stay a builder all his life. But at least he's contributing. Whereas a rich cunt who's just fucking flying in hookers all the time and buying cocaine, like it doesn't do much for the world, you know?
Yeah.
Obviously the ambitious on both sides do great. You look at fucking Amazon guy, Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
Man fucking arguably did a lot of damage for the fucking local guy. But
fuck him.
Yeah, I mean, look, he revolutionized how the fucking world operates right now. You know what I mean? The whole e-commerce scene. But like, yeah, I don't know. I don't think necessarily being poor makes you grind more. I think you might say you grind more after watching a fucking Gary Vee video, but most people aren't built like that, you know? Most people aren't going to flea markets when you're worth $40 million to find a toy worth, you know, buy it for $5 and sell it on eBay for $100, like Gary Vee does.
Well, this is the thing, in my opinion. I reckon the main thing that I would want to instill in a child is the ability to go after what you want.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's hard to want something so badly when you can have anything.
See, but I think it should be about ambition, not in the sense of money, but in the sense of what, like whatever your passion is. If you're going to be a painter, that's cool. Be the best painter there is.
Exactly.
Don't do this bullshit where you're like just all right and you're just living off fucking daddy's handoffs. You know what I mean? Like, be the cunt that owns the biggest art gallery. You know what I mean?
That's
like,
fucking huge.
I don't know. I think like people who aren't going for it, they're just very uninspiring people. Like, have you ever gone to a fucking club or a bar or something like that and you're talking to a random and all they're doing is just telling you what's wrong in their life?
I hate it.
They're not telling you like
hate
anything that's
Me
good.
too.
It's just Debbie Downers. I just don't like Debbie Downers.
It's a
in
bad
general.
vibe.
It's like everyone's got shit going on.
Yeah, and look, like
gonna-
I understand you could be going through some stuff, but like the idea that nothing, like I had guys who would at university who would say shit like, "Oh, I can't get an internship." I'm like, "Oh yeah, have you tried doing this?" And he said, "I did that." I'm like,
So
"Oh, well,
what?
how's your resume?" He's like, "No, it's perfect." And I'm like,
Shut up.
That's your
It's
issue
not
right there,
perfect.
bruv.
Yeah.
The idea that you're perfect and everyone else is the issue will fail you every time in life.
It's also
You know
the
what I mean? Like-
entitlement that's in that I did that.
Oh, bro.
Like, no
It
one
made
knows you
me-
shit, brother.
The worst thing was I was walking with this cunt to the train station and it was still probably 10 minutes away. And I'm like, I have to sit through this bullshit for 10 minutes.
Oh, I would need to go to the bathroom. And
Oh,
fucking
bro, it was
missed
so
that
bad.
train coincidentally. Hopefully you caught it.
Jesus. It was fucking horrible.
Yeah. Here's actually, I want to make this a bit more businessy. I hope you guys don't mind this, but because Tris is fucking really, he knows a lot about this stuff. So what I mean by businessy is that there's a lot of talk about something called a T, and what a T, like sort of a T mentality towards specializing in something. So it's that instead of having a block where you know a little bit about everything or like a reasonable amount about everything, you have a T. So you know a little bit about everything and then a lot of something. So
Sure.
that you're an expert in digital marketing, or you're an expert in trends online,
Right.
or you're an expert in PR, or you're an expert in fucking sales, like something.
Sure.
And you can even specialize within that specialization.
Well, that's the whole idea. So it's exactly like a T, so that you're extremely good at one thing,
Yeah.
but everything else, like you're not that good at maths, you're not that good at writing, you're not that good at this, but you're really fucking good at digital marketing.
So, autism? Is that what
Well,
we're talking about?
it's kind of like autism. It's perfectly like. I mean, what do you think about that mentality? Or do you think that it's better to have a bit like be a jack of all trades?
Absolutely not. I think specialize and then build on that specialization.
I would. That's the advice I would give to anyone who's between 14 and 20 years old.
Because you're never going to be an expert commentator on everything.
Exactly.
It's impossible.
Like-
But managers aren't experts on one thing to that extent.
Yeah.
They typically...
They have their area of focus for sure, but they also have a lot of the T, like the intangible kind of, it's intangible? I don't know. The speaking and leadership
Empathy,
skills and stuff like
leadership,
that.
all
Stuff
that
which
stuff.
if you were a pure specialist, because like if you meet pure specialists, you can tell they're fucking pure specialists because their
Yeah.
communication, not great. They're guns at fucking a few different things. Maybe it's coding, maybe it's financial analysis or something like that. But you're not going to have that guy as the CEO. That
Well,
guy's
but
like
this
the
is the thing.
secret weapon of the CEO.
I don't think this is good for CEOs.
Yeah.
But the thing is, if your goal is to be the chief executive officer of a company that's not your company, then you would need a different set of skills. You need a leadership course. You need
This
to do
is
an
why
MBA.
universities have introduced people and planet units.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think they got rid of them at Macquarie.
What?
Yeah.
When? I had to do
Recently.
them.
Yeah, no, I all my mates who went to Macquarie had to do them, but someone
Jeez.
told me
And do you know
recently.
why? It was the engineers that did it.
Wait, why?
Because my grandfather's an academic and he was telling me about why I have to do these other two weird courses that aren't related to my degree. He's
Isn't it
like,
to mix people?
and he said, professions like engineers, they can enter the workforce and they're brilliant at maths and science and they can do engineering, whatever, but they couldn't write a report because they literally couldn't string a sentence together.
Bro, that's the funny, because as an engineering graduate, it's so true. Like,
Yeah.
well, my one skill was not being a fucking nerdy neek who knows everything about code.
It's
But
huge.
I could gun a report like nothing else.
Yeah.
So like when I saw a coding assignment, I'll be like, oh, for fuck's sake. When I saw a report, I'm like, oh, that's easy, bro.
Yeah.
Look at easy HD right here, dog.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
And on that management bit that you were saying, I think that it's totally fine for you to go for that team mentality between 14 and 20. Become extraordinarily good at one thing, whether it's coding, whether it's marketing, whether it's whatever. And then when you get, because remember, you're going to be a junior for a long time. And you're going to be a junior until probably you're 26, 27 years old in the workforce.
At least.
And then when you're 25, then you can start learning these soft skills. You
But
can
you-
get better at leadership.
See, I think you should have some level of soft skills so you can ingratiate yourself with the people. So like,
Yeah.
because the reality is a lot of office, is bureaucracy and stuff, but it's
Lot of
also
politics.
like friend politics. Like if a manager likes you more than another nerdy guy, you do have some level of edge, and that nerdy
So
guy's got to be
much.
so much like
Do you
a
think?
certain level
So,
above.
like office playing politics is like, if you're friends with your direct report, your job will be so much better. than
There's
if you
more
don't like your
leniency.
I
leader.
agree, but you also are not going to let poor quality work slide because you're mates with them.
Well, that's the easiest way to be
And
good
that's a
friends with
very
them.
difficult...
It's really easy to be friends with a manager if you're really good at your job.
Exactly.
If you're good at your job because you're a fucking specialist and you're the best at that, and you're also friends with him just personally,
But that's the thing, like,
that's the wombo combo.
but like obviously people generalize by saying specialist or manager in the higher things, and obviously you can have people who are very specialized but also have some managerial traits. Like humans aren't X's and O's. You know, there is like
That's true.
there is variance and overlaps and stuff. But like if you're a pure specialist, you're probably not going to be friends with the manager unless he happened to be a pure specialist that was like linked up. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Like the reason why I think it's important for you to specialize in something is not even so that you can do well. It's literally for the confidence, because as a young person entering the workforce, especially in something like engineering where there's a lot of straight up technical shit that like you learn and you're like, wait, do I actually have to know 4-unit math when I go into the workforce? And a lot of times you can get nervous thinking like, fuck, what if I'm not going to be able to do the work? And having something that you're good at will at least give you the confidence like, yo, when this comes in, I'm good at this. Because especially like a lot of engineering degrees, there'll be a lot of different courses you have to do that aren't that related to each other. Well, or they are in the terms of physics, but in terms of what you actually do in the workforce, you might do thermodynamics and then go into something completely different, and you'll barely use your thermodynamics. And then it's like, in your head, you'll be like, oh, fuck, can I do this new thing? I did really well in this, but I can't do well in this. You know what I mean? So having like a few things that you're quite good at will just give you the courage to be confident in the workforce. You know what I mean? Like confident in your work, not second guessing.
Also, because you'll also be working with teams that don't have your specialization and they are relying on you. Take engineering, for example.
Yeah.
They'll expect you to have a decent amount of knowledge and strategy about all facets of engineering.
Yeah.
So you can weigh in on a meeting.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's my question for you, Chris. What's your thoughts on doing what you love versus what makes money, or versus what your dad tells you to do, or what your mum wants you to do?
That's a tricky one.
Can doing what you love does money not play a part of that? That's what I want to know.
That's the thing. Like, okay, so
I think it does.
What if your parents want you to become an accountant, but you want to do fucking marketing?
So I think never listen to what your parents want you to do, because the reality is like they don't have to live in your body working,
but also
80 hours.
What if they're paying for you? What if they're paying for your life? You live with your parents. You can't just not do what they say.
What are you talking about?
Because if you live with your parents, you need to pay the
Sorry,
respect.
I forgot you're not white. That's not how it works.
You've got to pay
white families.
You've got to repay your respects to the person who's supporting your life.
Why?
That doesn't mean
because they're
living
paying
your
for
life.
I have to live my life how they want because they give me a bedroom.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah, exactly. Because they're paying for your life.
That doesn't make sense.
Time to move up.
If your livelihood depends on them, well, then you owe them a level of respect.
Respect, sure. Listening to everything they say, I disagree.
I can agree with that. What do you reckon, Chris?
It's your life at the end of the day. If they want to kick you out, that's their own prerogative. But the idea that you live with me, you know what I mean? I don't lease out your bedroom, therefore you have to do everything I say is a very short-sighted perspective.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm going to live a miserable life because you paid for fucking food when I was a kid. It's like, if you didn't fuck, I wouldn't be here. You know what I mean? Can't put all the onus on me, mate.
That's true. That's true. I mean, what are your thoughts? Do you reckon do what you love or do what's practical?
There's got to be some overlay, surely.
There is. And if doing what you love doesn't make money, the only way you can kind of make a career out of it is if you start your own business and then you're in control of the capital. If you want to be if you love art and you want to be an artist, you're not going to pay any bills doing that.
Do you know what?
Unless you do NFTs.
The idea
you're paying your mum's mortgage.
Do you know what I think the issue is that people think that you're meant to be happy every second of every day, and that's just not. It's not true. If there's no sadness, there's no happiness.
That's true, but don't settle for sadness.
No, but it's not about that. It's like the idea that like, no, I love playing Call of Duty, so I should be able to find a way to play Call of Duty at my house all day. It's like, no, that's not how the real world works. Like every relationship, you're going to have some kind of fucking scuffle which allows you to reach a better place, or it breaks off. And like the idea that I want to be happy and the only way I can be happy is sitting in my room fucking playing a game, therefore I should be able to do it. It's like, no, the world's not about what you want. The world's about what you can offer other people to get what you want. You know?
Only doing what you love is a little bit self-serving, which is fine if you're completely independent. If you have any kind of dependent or if you're in a relationship, you have to factor that in. And if doing what you love isn't going to send your child to school or provide for your family, it's not a good deal.
Okay, here's one that kind of links before. You've got a kid who's studying to be an artist. They're fine. They're not blowing your socks off, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
but they're not self-sufficient at all. They're relying on you to pay their rent, pay all the stuff. They want to live in fucking, let's say you move to the States. They want to live in Brooklyn because it's like an artsy district, higher rent, all that kind of stuff. They're 25. How long do you get to the point where you're like, I'm sorry, mate, this isn't happening anymore?
Well, I've already decided. I've already told this to Chris many times. With my kids, when they're 18 years old, they're out of the house.
Really?
I'll pay for their rent until they graduate. When they graduate, you're on your own. The second you have that paper, no more money comes from dad.
I will let them get a good job first.
No.
I think
you can't just leave them high and dry, though.
Do you know what?
And it does take time to get a good job.
This is the thing. You've had 4 years knowing this moment's going to come.
See,
but that doesn't mean like, you can only start applying for grad roles after you've graduated or just before.
You've had 4 years to know this time is coming.
I also don't think that. I think that perspective changes once you have a kid.
Of course.
Because if you see your kid living on the street while you've got stacks, there's probably going to be some part of you who's feeling shit.
Struggle makes you someone fucking better.
Nah, but also your pride. It's the same reason why. Let me ask you something. Are either of you guys going to go for a Moissanite stone?
What's a Moissanite
The fake
stone?
diamond. It's more sparkly, guys. It's more shiny. You know what I mean? It's harder. No, we're not.
I think I just vomited slightly.
Because the reality is, the rock on our fucking wife's finger is kind of a flex for us as well. You know what I mean? If your girl can't lift her arm up because that rock is so heavy, so much fucking like African children blood has gone into getting that stone.
Yeah.
There is a flex in that. And if your kid's just some bum and you're just embarrassed bringing him up, there's going to be part of you that's going to be like, oh, for fuck's sake, just stop doing this bullshit painting.
Yeah.
Stop finger painting in the park and get a job, cunt.
Well, here's something actually that I wanted to bring up. So a lot of our audience are going to be doing something that their parents might not agree with, or like they want to do something and it's hard to explain. And if what you love isn't very clearly monetized, like if you don't have a natural affinity for fucking dentistry and fucking teeth, it's easy to explain. Yeah, dentists make a lot of money. If you're into art, if you're into gaming, if you're into a million different things or if you're into memes, it's very hard to tell to a 40-year-old parent or a 50-year-old parent, you can make money here. There's a lot of skill, and I want you guys to take the onus on yourself. Like, take responsibility in explaining to someone who's outside of your generation that there is money in this.
And you can't just settle for the excuse of they're just a boomer, they don't know.
Yeah, explain to them. Like, show them examples. Like, show them what can happen if you actually got really good and committed in this. And make an agreement with them. Like, hey guys, let's trial this out for 1 year. Let me try this for 1 year. I'll put everything I can into it. And if it doesn't work, then I'll do accounting for you.
Here's the thing, right? I don't think that most jobs and most side hustles mean you can't work. Like, if you want to be a professional streamer and you're really about that, you can work a 9 to 5 and come home and stream in your evenings if that's your true passion. If you want to be a painter, you can come home and paint. And maybe you won't be able to output the same amount of paintings as if you did it full time. But the reality is that's not how the world doesn't work on what you want to do. So therefore, I want to paint, so I should be able to get the money of a full-time fucking Picasso. It was something you said to me the other day, Baz, which it's the first time I've ever agreed with Gary Vee.
Jeez.
It was the idea that you should get your side hustle to the point where you can barely survive off the salary doing it part-time and then take it full-time. Because by taking that full-time, let's say you need 60K to live. If you can get 60K from your side hustle part-time, when you take it full-time, it'll fucking revolutionize what you do. Because
that's what I want to do with fucking Milk Bucket, bro.
Legit, bro.
Oh, man.
You look at us right now. We're making, what is it, 28th podcast?
Yeah.
Right? The 28th podcast, we got fucking hundreds of TikToks online, all this shit. I'm in fucking final year university. Basil's working full time. Like, most of the time, you don't actually have to quit everything you're doing to start something new. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just about planning your time a bit more efficiently. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
But there's a lot of power in being able to explain something that is completely foreign to a parent. Like, a parent would never understand. Imagine if we had to explain to our parents why we're starting Milk Bucket. Like, that it would be very hard to pitch, but you can pitch it and you can get them in on it as well.
The issue is like Milk Bucket even would be an easier pitch because it's like we've got radio before it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like there's something that they can see. But if you tried to say like NFTs, where you're like, oh no, so like, yeah, it's essentially a way for digital artists to claim ownership. And they're like, right, but what do they get when you buy the art? It's like, oh, well, they get a token which says they own the art. It's like, but what do they actually own? It's like, oh, well, they own the art. It's like, yeah, but what is it? Is it a JPEG? No, it's a JPEG. So it's the same JPEG I can go on Google Images and copy? Like, what are you talking about?
This is the thing. Metaphors. When you buy a Louis Vuitton bag, how do you know it's Louis Vuitton? Oh, well, I know because I love the brand. But how do you know? They're super fakes. Well, with NFTs, there is a physical not like tangible, but there's a physical certificate that only one person has.
But see,
and when I sell you it, I sell you the certificate. I don't sell you the GIF. It's a certificate of authenticity.
But I think like when they start incorporating it a bit more savvily, like when they start selling a sound effect and you can claim revenue from every movie that uses that as a sound effect, that'll be great.
Yeah.
Right now, when it's just like, no, I own this JPEG and they don't. The reality is, if you buy a fucking handbag from the Louis Vuitton
same as normal
store,
art.
No, it's not.
It's the exact same.
No, it's not.
Why?
Because you have the original bought from it. Like a house there, you're not just fucking printing out a copy that they haven't painted on. You're buying a piece of history.
Well, there's displays that you can buy that will show your NFT. So you can display it physically.
No, but you're supplying an array of RGB colors.
Yeah, true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not a photocopy of the Mona Lisa.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. But I mean, at the end of the day, like there's value in it and there's money in it. And you can explain that to someone. If you just thought about how can I explain this to someone who would have no idea what the fuck I'm talking to.
I don't think there's money in current state of non-fungible tokens. I think
it's too late.
No, I think there's always going to be money in some things, but it's about sustainability. Yeah. I think the engineering part of me, like if someone makes 10 grand doing something, if they can't explain to me why it happened, then I don't care a fuck about what they said.
Yeah.
Because they're not being, if you can say, I bought this stock and I bought it because of X reasons, and when Y reasons happened, that triggered X, and therefore it jumped up this amount. You're a smart fucking guy. You look at Warren Buffett, he'll be able to explain every single fucking investment he's made, his wins, his losses, he'll be able to explain his rationale. The current state of buying crypto is worth 0.0001 cent because, Bitcoin's rising right now, so I reckon this might rise.
Yeah, it's riding the wave.
It's you're not like,
it's fine.
It's
gambling.
Yo, you might,
sports bet.
Exactly. You might make money. Yo, you could put a multi-bet on, which is a fucking 1 to 1 million odds, and you could win it.
Yeah.
You could also lose it.
I have a friend who literally calls his sports bet multis fucking investing.
What?
To be fair, it's as much investing as any of these crypto boys. But
not really.
Well, I mean, why do you think it's any different?
There's more risk involved with sports bet.
I disagree. I think there's far more risk involved with crypto.
But crypto, like those kind of investments, you can just put the money in and leave it, and if the value goes down, it'll go back up.
That's true. At least you've got the coin.
If you want to put some money on the horses and they lose, that's
gone.
a sunk cost.
You're right, but it can also just go down to almost nil or fall out of existence.
Because the people still in existence.
Some of them close.
Really?
Yeah, of course. When people are betting on penny stocks, plenty of penny stocks close.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
I wonder if a crypto can just not exist.
And I would argue that sports bet might actually require be less, not risky because you can go to nil, but less just speculative. Because if you're betting on the Los Angeles Lakers, their stats on the Los Angeles Lakers versus every other team for the last 50 years. With all the different players, they break down every single metric. You know what I mean? There's far more stats involved in sports bet than there is in fucking crypto right now. Crypto is where is the dot today? Is it up? Is it down? Is it fucking really down? Is it middle?
Well, I've got a friend of a friend who actually created an algorithm for I think it was horse races. He made an algorithm and he sold it to Sportsbet for $10 million. Friend of a friend. And all he did was...
When you say friend of a friend, how old is the friend of the friend?
The friend is 30.
Okay, how old is the friend of the friend?
I think it was the same class. Yeah, so it went to one of the top schools. It's called North Sydney Boys.
Yeah.
Top school. So it's the type of person you would expect. Apparently the guy is autistic as hell, but he's really good at maths.
Dude.
Really good at maths. And he just figured out an algorithm to...
That's one of those things. If you're talking about a job where you would make bank throughout most times of history, if you can work with algorithms, that probably is it.
Yeah.
Because even back in the day, if you can figure out like the correct ratios of fucking fertilizer to soil to get the best harvest and shit like that. That actually relates to one of the things I was thinking about this week. If you went back in time with the knowledge you have right now to like an ancient time, let's say 1,000 years ago or something like that, right? How crazy is it that you would have to be mad selective with what you said? Because if you said too much, they'd think you're like a witch or a fucking like demon or something like that and kill you.
They still do to a certain extent.
Where?
You get cancelled. If you say something that's out of the blue, like crazy.
Oh, that's a bit different.
There's a difference between saying all women belong in the kitchen and, if you actually get the small and the tall angle and fucking square them, then add them together and get the square root, you'll get the hypotenuse. You know what I mean? Like,
wait, well, I don't know if fucking Pythagoras got fucking in trouble. I think he's like in
No, but that was Greek, bro. Greeks were all about fucking advancements. How crazy is that in history? We had certain civilizations which were all about advancement in technology and just waving their dicks around.
All the way back.
Then And it was literally the influx of Christianity.
Yeah, I was about to say, when was all that Pythagoras shit? BC.
Yeah.
Fucking C ruin everything.
Yeah, I mean, no, he's not wrong.
Yeah.
In terms of scientific progression, the thing that's hard is that like without, and as a very non-religious man myself, I can even admit it, like religion creates beautiful pieces of art, beautiful cities. When people are building something not for themselves, but for a higher power, they go fucking all out. If you go to Turkey and you look at some of the mosques, like the Blue Mosque, that shit is amazing, bruv.
Yeah.
If you go to fucking, even back in Greece where they had like the ancient Greek gods, they would build, there's a Greek monument which apparently is real, but like I don't think it's existing anymore. Maybe it got toppled out. It was called the Titan of Rhodes, I think, or the Colossus of Rhodes. But it's essentially, Game of Thrones, there was that place called like Ethos or some shit like that. It was one of those like Spanish sounding Arabic places. And at the front of the entrance to the port, the bay, there was a fucking giant statue of a dude with 1 foot on one side and 1 foot on the other side.
Yeah, and you can go inside,
That's based off Greek literature.
That's crazy.
That was meant to have been a real thing, which that doesn't happen in today's... We're never going to have...
Look at New York. That's all
there's
built.
nothing
Every
like that.
building that's built is because of money. And,
but there's nothing...
they're beautiful in a different way.
Nah, there's no beauty like that. The beauty of the Sistine Chapels compared to the fucking Twin Towers. What are you talking about? Even the Empire State Building. It looks beautiful now. Imagine walking into a place where a fucking dude spent, 10 years painting incredible detail. Because that was obviously in the time of like realism in art. Where there was an artwork I saw once, which was fucking amazing. And I'm not an art kind of guy, you know what I mean? But it was an art it was a painting of, what's the place called where they have all the art?
Art galleries.
Yeah, it was a painting of an art gallery, and there was all these pieces of art on the wall, and each piece of art had like incredible detail on this small thing.
So you
and
could zoom in, and it was like a little thing.
There might have been like fucking 10 of them, and I'm like, this is outrageous. And then you got Picasso with his fucking nose on backwards. Like, what's going on here, bro?
I really like Picasso though.
I really don't.
Van Gogh. I'm a very big fan of even contemporary, like the ones where it's got one stripe on the other, or like banana sticky taped on it. This is the thing about those.
You like modern art?
Yeah. I'll tell you why.
That's outrageous.
I'll tell you why.
Because he wants to launder his money in the future. That's why.
I'll tell you why. It's a lot more difficult in practice. You see these people doing things that are easy. It's not easy.
Why?
Do it yourself.
It's all marketing.
It's not marketing.
It is purely marketing.
When you do it, it's a lot more difficult.
Okay, Baz, so what was the difficulty of the banana on the wall?
It's not about that.
Was it because he went into his drawer, no sticky tape? Fuck, I gotta go to Coles. Went there, no sticky tape. Do I have to go to Bunnings to get some sticky tape? Go to Bunnings to get some sticky tape. Guess what? No bananas at home. Now I have to go back out to the store. It's purely just pretentious fucking rich people pretending like they know more. It's like, you know how there are certain like wine aficionados? I do believe that there are differences in wine that some people can see. But there are some people that can't tell the difference who claim they're wine aficionados.
Oh, of course. Yeah, of course.
And it's so great when they get caught out. When they have an Aldi wine and they're like, this is 400 years old.
Bussin'.
Which is actually quite, even for me, I drink Aldi wine.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff is pretty good.
Well,
award winning.
Which is weird because it's German.
This is my answer about
if Aldi was Italian,
yeah.
If it was like Aldo, you'd be like, yeah, of course. Okay.
The reason why it's more difficult than you'd think. So we'll take the exact example, the banana sticky taped. So that was bought by a corporation. It wasn't bought by an individual.
And then a guy ate it.
Well, yeah, someone ate it, but a corporation bought it. So it was not for money laundering reasons.
It could be money laundering for the corporation.
No, because they put it in their lobby. It was bought and they kept it there.
Are you sure they didn't just grab a banana and sticky tape it to the lobby?
Well, no, because it was a very big, it was a publicity stunt, but it was bought by a corporation, which means that it was it was not for tax laundering reasons. It wasn't some wealthy person. Well, that's the thing. Well, because a corporation bought it, and corporations have, they don't pay tax until after they give it to people.
Corporations have never fucking laundered money, have they?
Well, that's the thing. It's a lot easier as a corporation to launder money
than
as an individual.
Lobbies do need art.
Well, this is the thing. If you weren't going to profit from the money, you didn't need to buy artwork. You could have reinvested it into a jet. There's anything else you could have bought to launder the money if you didn't want to pay tax on it. What I'm trying to get to is that you sticky tape a fruit to a painting and sell it for 150 grand.
But then how is it not marketing?
It's not.
It's purely marketing.
Everything is marketing though.
No. But
why is this couch worth more? Everything you could say it's marketing.
No, Baz, because you're missing
everything
you're
on
missing
earth
certain things.
You could blame on
there
marketing.
is at one point there is the marketing. So if you're going to buy a Nike trainer, right, compared to a Kmart trainer, like runner is for Aussies, you could say, well, it's all marketing. But it's not. There is a lot of the markup in price is marketing. However, you do look at it and they're more comfortable shoes. There's more technology that goes into it to make it better. And therefore, maybe only 50% of the price
increase. How do you know
increases.
it's not like that in the art? How do you know there's not a story behind it?
Because it's a banana sticky taped to a wall.
It's not.
Yes, it is.
There's strokes in the painting. It's not a plain canvas.
No, it's a banana sticky taped on the wall though.
It's not a plain canvas.
But it's a banana sticky taped on the wall.
No, on a canvas. And
there's
shit on the canvas.
What is a canvas?
I don't know how
exactly. So why are you pretending like there's an extra story?
Why are you pretending that there's not?
Because when you compare that to the guy painting the art gallery with detailed artwork, one is more difficult than the other.
I don't think
one is difficult from a marketing perspective. How can we convince these suckers that this is worth 200 grand? And one of them is technically difficult.
This is the thing. I don't think that technical difficulty leads to beauty. There's an aura of simplicity. If something, think about it like when you watch NBA. These people are extraordinarily skilled. They've spent tens and tens and tens of thousands of hours playing it. But when you watch it, it looks easy. Because there's beauty in simplicity. There's beauty in when your flair, the way, the art of the movement. You
Baz,
make it look easy.
Baz,
and that's what makes it look beautiful.
No, but Baz, that's
when you watch someone struggling, it doesn't look good.
No. You could say the exact same thing about that guy painting the fucking painting.
Yeah.
Like it looks easy because he knows what he's doing, but the second anyone else does it, they can't. They have no idea how to do it.
That's exactly what my perspective is on the banana.
But it's literally a banana sticky taped to a wall.
You think that?
No, I know
you
that.
Think that
you think there's a lot of work gone into it?
Absolutely.
But it's shielded?
Absolutely.
What do you think?
Well, I don't know.
You have to have some perspective.
I'm not a painter.
Man, you gotta have a perspective. Is it perspective? What is the movie from Pulp Fiction? The line.
I'm not
Man, you
sure.
gotta have a perspective.
Or opinion.
Oh, it is opinion. Yeah. Anyway,
I don't need to be an artist to know that there is a lot of skill involved in that. I don't need to be a basketball player to know that LeBron has trained a lot. I don't need to be a soccer player to know that fucking.
No, you do, because
Ronaldo
one is objectively more difficult. If I asked you to make
from your perspective,
no, objectively.
From your
no.
Who said that?
Every artist in the world. If we did a poll of artists, I'd bet $1 billion right now. Don't even have it. I'll go take a loan out.
For $1 billion.
If we had,
I would be actually comfortable making that bet.
You're crazy.
I think that artists.
If we had average, why?
Because things are a lot more difficult than they seem.
But
especially,
Baz, you're
at the highest level.
No, but you're applying this to different levels. Like with NBA, there are so many different factors going on. When the main piece is the banana on the fucking the canvas, like being able to dribble, being able to shoot, being athletic enough, being tall enough, being fast enough, being strong enough.
I think that there's all those factors in
not in that. In legit contemporary art, yes.
Like size, stroke, movement.
Not in the banana on the canvas, no. In the contemporary art
you're talking at cross purposes because you're talking about literally one thing on a blank canvas. And Baz, I think you're talking about more general modern art where there is a little bit more labor that goes into it and technique.
I'm literally talking about the banana or sticky taped on it. Because it's not, the guy didn't just literally go to the banana and sticky tape it on. There is a lot of thought behind it.
What's
lot of thought.
Like the theory?
You can't say there's a lot of thought without knowing any of the thought.
Well, that's because
it could have just been that.
I'm 100% sure it was.
Why?
Is it like
why are you 100% sure? Why are you dealing in absolutes?
Because I have read an article like a long time ago. I've read articles about it.
Right, come on.
I'm not an art expert. I'm not going to pretend to be one. But I know that when things are at the highest level.
Even you think about, so you think about Banksy, right? He works off stencils, right? When he does it.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, he does. So he works off stencils and he will go spray paint something and it's all, worth a lot of money, right? It's not I'm sure there's technical difficulty with the spray painting and stuff like that. But like the main story about the Banksy is the comment on society that he gives. So I'm sure you could say that the banana on the painting has a different, it has a meaning and stuff like that. That doesn't change the fact that someone painting an extremely detailed painting using fine brush strokes and massive brush strokes and all this kind of stuff is not objectively harder than sticky taping a thing in terms of art. If you're talking about marketing, sure. Getting someone to pay $250 for a banana stack to a canvas, that is better than Steve Jobs in marketing. Steve Jobs is just selling a slightly below average phone.
Everything comes down to marketing, though. Everything comes down to marketing.
No, but there is skill, bro.
My point is that for some people who are naturally gifted in painting, the banana is a fucking nightmare. How the fuck do I do that? I'd rather just draw something that's beautiful. I can do that. That's comfortable for me.
No, because they don't know marketing. But if we're talking about painting, we're talking about art.
How do I make something incredible out of a banana sticky tape to a wall? That's the question.
Are you saying
that's marketing?
So if
not marketing.
someone has
It is
spent
pure marketing.
many hours
Yeah.
technically painting this detailed, intricate piece of work,
Yeah.
does that equate to someone who's spent the equivalent amount of hours conceptualizing, pontificating, doing the theory, thinking about it, and then in the end, slapping a banana skin to a canvas?
What's the question?
Like,
One is worse than the other, Baz.
What's the question? though?
Objectively
But
speaking.
is it like, are you saying the same amount of thought and process and effort and skill has gone into both things, but with very different outcomes?
I'm just, well, I mean, at
Like,
the end of the
if
day,
if you got every person in the world and we had a purely democratic situation where you could vote for A or B,
Yeah.
which one is more impressive out of
Yeah.
this and that?
I think
I'd be
far,
willing.
yeah, 100%. I agree. I think the popular vote is definitely that. Is definitely the beautiful painting. 100%. I
But
totally
you said
agree
you'd
with that.
fucking bet $1 million that all the artists would do it. You think
I
the
think
artists?
the artists, the artists who have actually
You think
tried
the
it,
artists that have dedicated their life to brush strokes and creating
Absolutely.
beautiful art
Absolutely.
would think that a banana stuck to something,
Well, they would
which
appreciate
essentially
it. They would
creates a
appreciate
mockery out of their profession.
No. I think they would really.
I mean,
appreciate it.
essentially it does. It's like, fucking, oh yeah, I've got a lobster on a fucking telephone. How does that compete with
Well,
all these?
because-
The fucking Leonardo da Vinci wasn't even like known as a painter as much as
Well,
a
I'm happy to
thinker
move
or
on. I
stuff.
think
An
we've
interior
talked a lot.
designer.
I think
Yeah.
Interior painter.
Helicopter maker.
I'm happy
great
to.
guy.
We can move on, but we'll just say one last bit about this each. I reckon there's a lot more difficulty than you think with everything. Whenever you go to the highest level, it always looks easy.
Like skiing. It looks like someone's just slipping down a mountain, but it
everything.
takes tens of hours.
Everything. You
Yeah.
watch someone singing, you watch someone playing, you watch someone drawing, you watch someone playing a video
Yeah, I
game.
can appreciate
it
that.
looks
Again,
so bloody easy, but
as-
that's because of how much work
And
there
there's
is.
a skill
my
of making it
And you
easy.
will not appreciate it until you try it yourself.
As my final statement,
Yeah.
I will also say that we were arguing art, not marketing. If you said marketing, I would agree. The fucking selling a
it's all-
banana.
it's all one.
It's not one.
It's all the same thing.
It's not one.
It's the complete package.
But as a basketball player can have the most amazing skill, but if he isn't marketable,
It's
if he's
not-
the
it's not
ugliest
all
guy in the
marketing as
world,
well. It's also a humongous amount of luck because there's a million Van Goghs that weren't recognized. That
sure,
did the exact same.
Van Gogh wasn't recognized until he was there.
Exactly. And
But
there's a million others.
the
that never
reality
will
is
get
that if you have
recognized.
the technical skill required is very different, and I think if we're basing something off a marketing perspective, I can completely understand that. In the same way that if we were saying who was marketed better, Apple or Samsung, it's Apple 1,000,000%. They've done such a better job with their product. If you're talking about which is the better phone, it's also very clear who's the winner. Anyway,
I think it's
sorry,
it's
Chris. You're still
definitely-
you still think fucking Intel's here, bro? I don't know, man. You're living in the dark
Intel,
ages.
no,
dog.
I'm pro Intel for.
You're bugging, bro.
Anyway,
AMD's
was that your
taken
final
over.
statement?
Yeah, we have to close it off.
Yeah.
You
Well,
have your
do you have a
statement.
final statement?
I already made mine. But
We've
you-
been speaking
Okay.
for 20 minutes.
Yeah, do you want to make your final
I'm
statement?
good. I'm good. I'm happy
Yeah.
to move on.
Well, I think just all things like always seem way easier than they are.
Oi, if you guys were back in Rome, 180 time.
Oh yeah,
If you were in Rome during the Colosseum days,
yeah,
Yes.
with your brain right now,
yeah,
would you watch a gladiatorial fight?
yeah. Absolutely.
Yes.
I think so. as well.
I would watch it at least once.
Yeah.
That's because
Probably
in
get
life,
counselling afterwards, but yeah. I'd
yeah,
watch it.
that's the in life. I love experiences. This is something that I wanted to ask you guys. Which one would you prefer? Going to a new restaurant that you're not sure what's going to happen, or to a restaurant that you know is going to be great?
It depends on the situation, I think.
Does, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. Like if you have a girl with you, you probably want to get the safe
Yeah.
choice.
Oh, I don't know. I
but-
think there's some theatre involved in the new sort of.
Do you know what
true,
it is?
it's
It's all
excitement.
about it's all about your attitude. Because if you're there with a girl and it turns out to be bad, if you can handle that well, it can turn into like a funny experience.
And it
about
can
the
become
time.
the one night you remember.
Yeah, exactly.
And it
Yeah.
also
Remember when we
to
got those
them-
fucking egg rolls that were cold in the middle? Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. We had to go to fucking Messina to go and get some edible food or something.
Yeah. To get some warmer food.
Zing.
Messina's an ice cream shop, by the way. I mean, personally, let's just say, to answer your question, let's just say, but you're by yourself, and you've got the Thai restaurant you know is good, or the other Thai restaurant that you've never been to.
I have to be an experimental. If I'm trying to get something rushed, I'll go to something I know that's good. But I will intentionally try and avoid from like things that people just immediately like. So I'd rather not get Macca's or KFC if I could get something that's like a smaller joint that does like I just
local.
feel like, yeah, if you're gonna get something from a one-off store, it'll either be shit or it'll be amazing.
I agree.
Because they have all their time to focus on their recipes. Like I went to a place which might be like the equivalent of either a Porto's or like a local kind of chicken shop,
Like
right?
a-
where you can get like chicken and chips and stuff
Yeah,
like
like
that.
an
right?
Ogalo.
Yeah, but that's
One
a
of
chain.
those.
But I went to a
Yeah.
local one near where I live, and it was fucking horrible. Like I went in there and there was smoke inside the building. They definitely had to turn off the smoke alarms.
Did you eat it?
Yeah, no, I was like, fuck it. I'm going to try it
enough.
and let's commit to this. And it was just not good. The chicken was fucking dry. And I'm like, bro, this is your one store. How have you not figured this out?
You would think so, right?
You know what I mean?
This is your business. This is your life.
But
Get good at it.
I think there is nothing better about finding a one-off store that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because like,
hidden gem.
if you go to like you know that if you're going to Hurricanes, you're going to steak that tastes nice.
Yeah.
But if you go to and find like a secret spot, maybe it's not even secret, but it's not everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then it's your joint.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know the place.
Do you know what sucks though? When you feel like you've discovered something special because you go there towards the end of the night, and then later you look up the place because you're like, oh, where was it or something like that? Yeah, exactly. It's got a 4.9 fucking out of 5 stars. No, I wanted to know it. Yeah. It's my sport. It's not everyone else's.
I mean, what do you reckon, Chris? Are you more of a fan? If you're just by yourself, do you just go to the place you know is good?
If I'm by myself, I'll go to the familiar place.
Okay. I definitely have
because I want to share the experience with someone else if I'm going somewhere new.
But it's also, do you know what I
see?
It depends where you go to because like
risk it being bad.
Well, if it's bad, you can go through that together, and it's
exactly
an experience that bonds you.
That's true.
What is that type of eating that Brazilians do with the stick, the meat on stick, like in brasa? What is that called?
Churrascasso.
Yeah. So like, if I'm going to something like that, especially after watching Bridesmaids where they're all shit themselves after eating that, I'm probably going to go to a place where I know that does it well. Because it's a very specific kind of food that's not at every corner.
Yeah.
But if I'm going to fucking like an Indian joint or something like that where they're all over the place, I wouldn't mind fucking going around and like seeing what's available, especially if I'm like with a chick.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially if I haven't found my place. A lot of times I'll find my spot for something. So I'll find something that's fucking fantastic for Indian food. Shout out to you, Spice Hub. And Curry Monitor.
So good, bro. Oh, Curry Monitor.
Curry Monitor is on a different level.
If you ever come to Sydney, I wouldn't even recommend. Just go to Spice Hub.
Just go to Gordon. Go to Gordon and get some Curry Monitor.
Curry Monitor is way too far away. It's like 50 minutes on the CBD.
Oh, bro, but it's so good.
Where is
Spice, Gordon.
Gordon, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But Spice Hub is literally like a 15-minute walk from anywhere. So just go to Spice Hub. Fucking delicious.
Get the $9.50 lunch meal.
$10.
They sponsor
Isn't
this
it
podcast.
Yeah.
Bro, we should get Spice Hub to sponsor this.
Yo,
that'd be fucking crazy.
Should we call them up?
Bro, let's fucking do it one day. I'm actually really keen.
I'm actually so keen to do that.
What I was trying to say is I would actually prefer, and I realized this when I lived with...
Should we just lie about the numbers? Like, we've got, 1,000 listeners in the Sydney area.
Yeah.
I can write your pitch.
That would be fucking amazing. I'm so keen.
What I was trying to say is that I would actually prefer, and I realized this while living with you, I prefer going to a place that's new and tastes bad than to go to a place that I know is good.
Really? You got that from me?
Well, no. I came to that realization while like in the last, how long have we lived together? Like 8 months?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would I prefer new experiences feel better than good experiences. That's the best way to put it.
See, I think I agree with you, but not when you're living there. So like if you're getting takeaway to bring back to your house, I completely disagree. But if you're out in like an adventure, even if it's just in a different suburb, like you've gone out to fucking Bondi or fucking Coogee or something, which are like beachy areas, and you're not in your home stomping ground, so you don't know where the good places are. You know what I mean? You have your kebab store, you have your this store, and like I think if you're in a new area, I 100% agree. But if I'm going to go buy takeaway and bring it back home, I'd rather it like have a consistent level of good.
I agree.
And especially when you're traveling. There is a part of me that wants to be able to say I've gone to a Michelin star restaurant, but I also love when you eat some fucking amazing food off the street.
Like in the market that we went to in Thailand.
We went to a market in Thailand, Bangkok. Which had in Bangkok, which they were doing pad sius, but they made it on this massive fucking like hot pan in front of you, right? And
fresh fish,
Baz,
right on the thing. They just grab it.
Well, don't call it fresh fish. You're sitting outside all day. Yeah. Baz made the mistake of getting the seafood one. The chicken one was like, it looked like a fried katsu chicken.
Was delicious.
That's not true. I literally probably have a video of you saying I should have got the chicken.
I know, but the seafood was still delicious.
We had chunks of like, it looked like katsu fucking chicken. It probably wasn't katsu because
some sort of schnitzel.
Yeah, but it was like a schnitzeled kind of fried chicken on top of the pad see ew, which you'd think like it's too crunchy for the texture. Well, that's what you think because it's too. It's like, oh no, it's not the right texture. You need to serve it hot. It's too crunchy for the soft noodles. It worked perfectly. Yeah. It was the best pad see ew I've ever had to my life.
And Aaron, who literally can't eat it, his digestive system did not allow it. Still ate it and thought it was delicious, and was so happy about it as well.
And anyway, with that, we've got to the fucking 1 hour 10 mark. So we'll bounce out now. Thank you so much for all listening in. Thanks so much for Chris to be on the podcast.
Thanks for having
It's
me.
been fucking great.
It's been a pleasure.
It's always a pleasure having you on, man.
Thank you so much.
Like always, hit up the TikTok, hit up the Instagram, hit up the YouTube. We've got a video coming out probably last week, fingers crossed, called Ranking Sitcoms. So if you haven't seen that, make sure you check it out. Hit up fucking the @puppythis link down below to get 10% off amazing cases.
Yep.
Hit up the Milk Bucket collab and go support the boys. We got the Discord link below. Fucking everything else, leave us a 5-star review on Google and Apple Podcasts. And yeah, thanks so much for fucking kicking to us, lads.
What's the key word, by the way? Banana. Yeah, banana.
What's banana from?
The artwork.
The artwork.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that old
The
chestnut.
keyword is shit banana.
Keyword is banana, boys.
The keyword is London Riverboat.
I look forward to hearing
Shout
what
out
you guys
from
put
the
with
past.
More
Alright, boys.
updates, another episode on that.
Anyway, see you later, everyone.
Cheers for tuning in, boys.